Drop your name in the chat on Zoom so I know who you are. So when I get ready to call you up, I can reference you by your first name only. I won't share your full name. Let's see, I'm getting on live. Okay, Shapri, Avagar. Okay, let me make sure. Let me get drop your name in the chat. Let me get my tech right. Give me just another moment. I'm so glad y'all are here. So I'm live on YouTube. Hey, hey, hey. This is for the people who are catching the replay back. I was like, I got 45 minutes. I want to coach some people. So I sent out an email literally 15 minutes ago saying I want to do a career makeover for some people. If you have the time to log on now. And I have two people in the Zoom room. I'm going to send out another quick email to people letting them know that I am on live, but we're going to jump right into it. If you are catching this if you are on the YouTube platform, watching me stream, let me send something real quick. Y'all know I hate multitasking. I'm going live. I'm live. I hate multitasking. That's a behavior. That's a practice I'm trying to abandon. Um, Sending it now, but if you are watching me on YouTube, drop in the YouTube chat a question. The question is, let me back up. The question is, what is the biggest issue you have in your career/job right now? Right. So if it's just your job, that's fine. If it's your career as a whole, that's fine. Tell me the issue. What is the biggest issue you are facing right now? So I can help you strategize and come up with a solution. Okay. So let me 1 second, make certain I'm on the right page. And I am. Okay, and there's people on YouTube watching. Okay, so Shapri. Shapri was first, and then we're gonna have Avagar. Avagar, unmute and tell me how to pronounce your name. I know it's not right.
Abigail.
Vigari.
Abigail.
Okay.
Just call me Abby, it's fine.
Ivy. Okay. That's so beautiful. Okay, so Shapri, let's do it.
Okay, so I attended your career workshop, I think in July, and the strategies. So right now where I'm at is like looking for the jobs based on the strategies that you have taught me. I have done like the job alerts. I think my issue right now is actually getting the job, like getting interviews for the job. Like the strategies was very helpful. I found like I see the jobs there, but it's just me. Like when I apply to them, I'm not getting response on like it's probably my resume. So I think that's where I'm at. And then I'm feeling like desperate just to like apply to everything. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to apply to job out of desperation. But I think it's maybe like my resume or I'm not tailoring it. It's more like my resume is maybe showing more direct practice more than a macro level. And I think that's where I'm getting rejection. So I think that's what I'm struggling in right now as far as like my job career searching.
And so when you say that it's not being tailored specifically, help me out. Give me just off the dome.
I feel like my job is like I try to not be social worky. So like not saying that I did biopsychosocial. I'm trying to be more broad or more like not saying that I did conducted biopsychosocial or doing telephonic outreach to patients. Like I'm trying to make it more on a trying to sound more macro, but I don't know if it's working. And I think they seen like that this is just like direct practice. So I don't think that my resume is matching like the jobs that they're looking for, or they see how I'm relevant towards the job because I think my resume is showing more of direct practice. And I'm
Oh,
trying to stay away from that, but I don't know how.
So what type of jobs have you applied to? Tell me about the last macro job you applied to.
Let me see. I have a list. I keep it organized. Um, So I applied to like clinical policy analysis, program director, senior program manager, director of disability service, community school director, data analyst, social and health equity navigator, director of employee wellness, senior director of kids education, student life manager.
Which one was the last one? Because I want you to tell me about it.
Um, This one was, I don't even know where, but it says student life manager.
Okay, was that in higher ed?
I think it was in higher ed. Yes, it was CUNY. Yes.
Okay. And so your resume, was it speaking to experiences with students? No,
No,
no. It
no.
wasn't like that. So I need your resume too. So where have, if I'm trying to remember where you were, where are you're not a medical social worker, are you, Shabri?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
the
Okay.
hospital. Yes. So I think that's also hard because I feel like I'm a hospital social worker, care manager, and how to transfer my skills into these roles. I think that's what I'm struggling with.
Okay. So have you ever worked with students? Be it, don't think about it for a second.
Yes, I have.
Summer camp. Okay. Tell me
Summer
about
camp,
it.
yeah. So my one of my internship, I worked at a high school for alternative students, so people who were suspended. They would go to alternative schools. So I would work with students that way. I used to be a camp counselor. I was assistant teacher, but I was with the preschool age. But I was also a camp counselor for like summer youth. Um, and yeah, I think those are my most, yeah.
Yeah. So are those on your resume that you submitted?
Yes, but it's not the like my Mount Sinai job is the first one, so I guess maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah. So
Because
let's
I've been
talk.
there for 7 years, so
Okay. So when you are writing your resume, you have to tailor your resume, right? And so how I teach my people is essentially your main objective in writing your macro resume is to eliminate all of the extra stuff so people are able to only focus on and understand without even thinking about it why you're applying and what makes you a top candidate. So I understand your current job is you've been there the longest. However, medical social work, unless you are working with students, which I'm sure you have patients who were students, but we're not gonna go that deep on that end right now. You want to make certain that your resume is highlighting very extensively your experience with the students. So with the summer camp and the enrichment programs and the community things I know you do around fashion and all of that. That's what needs to be more prevalent on your resume as opposed to your job that you've had for 7 years. So what that looks like is my rule of thumb, what I teach my people is you only need 5 bullets per job. So I'm assuming without looking that your current job, you probably have quite a few bullets because you've been there a long time. But that needs to be on the lean side. And your five like most powerful bullets needs to be with the students. And you need to talk about what you did with students. So what was the title again for that job that you applied for? Something like
student life manager.
student life manager. So that's like doing some case management work with students, supporting them through their education journey and
I think
higher.
it was something like that. Yeah, I can't remember off the top of
So your bullets should have been first, you should have had 5 strong bullets for the jobs where you were touching students. Should have been talking about like your assistance with them of working through problems, your advocacy help with them, like advocating with professors around grades, even if it was K through 12 students. Like your bullets need to be really emphasizing those things. And it's okay if you remove the current job from your resume. And if you're like, I just want them to focus on the work that I've done with students, that's you could also do that. Now, I'm gonna pause for a moment because I don't want to give you too much information at one time and overload you. Your current medical hospital social work experience, do you ever touch people who are school age, work with people
it.
who are school age?
No, it's adults, the 18 older.
So even the adults, have you ever had a college student come through on your caseload?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. No one whoever was like, I'm in school, I need a doctor's note. I'm just making it up.
No.
Okay. Okay. So then you want to most definitely have all of your jobs where you are touching students. So let's talk through them. One is a summer camp. One was that. Where was that?
Summer. And I feel like this was so long ago as well.
That's okay. You can
Um,
put it on there.
I think I don't even remember. I have to look at my old resume because it's like it's not even on my new resume.
Okay. So
So
I want you to put all of your jobs on there that are around students. How many pages is your resume?
right now it's one.
Okay, you got too much experience, Shapri. Your resume can be longer as long as you have relevant experiences on the resume. My resume is 4 pages long.
I think it's because I was taught that it has to be one.
We don't follow that rule. We have too much experience. That is a rule for new graduates. My resume is 4 pages long. My last macro job in Washington, D.C., the people that hired me told me they read every single word on my resume, and it's 4 pages in length. However, my resume is so tailored that all of my experiences speak to my workforce development experiences with youth and young adults. So it's like a page turner. You can't help but want to read everything on it. So I say that to say, like, even with your Mount Sinai, like, I don't want to keep saying your job, your medical social work job, you should be talking about, even though you never touch students, you should be highlighting any type of administrative experience that you have that they see that you see they are talking about in the student life job. So they were talking about like, I'm mixing something up, evaluation or conducting services or leading meetings with parents and students or faculty and staff or planning events. And you know you have done that as a medical social worker, that job should be highlighting those types of administrative things. However, you're still going to need relevant touch points where you have worked with students. So you got to put all of your student experiences on that resume too.
That makes
I
sense.
don't care if it's 3 pages long, put it on there. Because without it, it's an incomplete picture, and then the people are reading your resume and they're trying to figure out, why did you apply? You're not qualified. So we don't follow the 1 page rule. So was that helpful?
Yes, that was very, very helpful because I think for my hospital job, like I have the most bullets for that, and everything else with the children is like 2 bullets. So when you said like having those with the most bullets and like little bullets with the hospital, that makes sense. So they can see like the overall picture. Yeah. So I would
Yeah.
try that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also remember too that even though you have the medical social work background, one, you want to use that job to highlight your administrative experiences, like I named earlier. But also, too, any experience you have regarding issues that overlap and touch the student population. So in higher ed, they're really, really struggling with food insecurity. They're struggling with houselessness. So if you ever had patients that was dealing with food insecurity, you had to connect them to SNAP or bring in a nutritionist and do all of the things, you want to talk about that because those are transferable experiences. It may not be the same population, but it's the same issue. And you know how to address it. You have documented outcomes. You know who are the key players regarding community organizations. They need to go to XYZ agency to get food or go here to get transportation. So when you are looking at what I teach my people is when we're looking at macro jobs, you really have to also be training yourself at the same time to blow out your experiences and look at the whole person. Students are dealing with a lot of issues. A lot of those issues you are aware of, mental health. You know how to address that. You know who the key players are. So you talk about those experiences in your real social worky jobs. I know that's not a word.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Shapri.
Thank you.
Good things. Okay, you're welcome. Um, okay, so let's see. People are coming into the YouTube chats. I love it. Well, the YouTube page. Drop in the chat. I asked the question, what is the biggest issue you're facing right now in your job and career? And I'm doing live makeovers, and Shapri joined me on live on Zoom. And so we just did a makeover for her. Shapri made certain that you keep me updated. You already got my information. And then next we have Avi. Avi, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I took 4 years of I took 4 years of foreign language and it did not do me any justice on my like
Can you
pronunciation.
hear me?
Yes,
It takes time for that. I had to teach you how to pronounce it. So I didn't want to do it here because we have limited time.
please. So what's
Um,
going on?
so I think that I have like a couple of things. I have been applying for jobs. And it has like I have received like some like some interviews, like phone interviews and things like that, but after that nothing. There were like some advice that you gave that I took notes because I've been working since I was 15 years old, but I didn't add like all my experiences. I just add like relevant experiences, so that's like a 1 page long resume, so that's something that I'm gonna keep in mind. But what I was like more interested was kind of like my struggle has been kind of like using my skills to make money per se. Because when I talk to people and like when I talk to them and we have a conversation or start like a discussion, I used to work around policies, nonprofit coalitions, and projects and programs. I have been like in tables, providing trainings for community organizers too, building community base, all of that. But when it comes to my resume, I don't know, it is because we don't have like a lot of experiences on that. It has been like hard on paper, but when I speak, I know what I am good at, and people like it. And sometimes they even like wanted like, okay, like can we have like a conversation later? And one of the reasons why I haven't got like a job is because I moved, and then all my connections were on the other state. So I was thinking about like maybe like what is like the best way to improve like how to sell our skills or like leverage our skills, because sometimes like I also ask this question because some people probably are right now like looking for a job, but they want to make money, but they don't know how to, but they have all these experiences that if they find the right path, the right way, or the right people, or present that information to them, or a build or create a proposal, other people will listen to them and pay them for their skills. But at this point, like I don't know like how to do that, and I need to do something in between.
Okay. So you're talking about leveraging skills with opportunities outside of a traditional 9 to 5.
Yes.
Okay. So I would say first that it starts by using my framework, which I use with all of my coaching clients, which is the 3 Ps framework. Because we don't it depends on where you are. Look, I'm all about like all money ain't good money. So I'm always like, you should be doing work that centers around something that you enjoy to increase your job satisfaction rates. And so that's what the 3 Ps framework helps you get clarity on first, to figure out of all of the experiences that you have, what did you enjoy doing the most? So you then can take that and monetize it in a different space. So the 3 Ps framework is, the first P stands for passion. That's where you identify what is it that you like to do outside of work. And are there potential ways to possibly blend that into your work? The second P is passion. How do you want your day-to-day work to look? You named like you did coalition building, or you did the community-based work, you worked in nonprofits, you've done policy. But out of all of those things, what was one thing that you really enjoyed doing the most where you're like, I wish I could do that, do more of that? Right? Think about that for a second. We're going to answer those live. And then the third one is population and or issue. So yeah, you can monetize your skills and go work anywhere, get something anywhere, but are you more passionate about a specific population and or issue? And if so, let's try to blend it around that to then determine where you should go next. So let's talk about it real quickly. What do you enjoy? Give me 3 things. What do you enjoy doing outside of work?
I love to create things. And when I say create, it's like I like to create courses. It's like one of the things that I like to do, or teach something. And like sometimes it doesn't matter what it is, it just gets me excited. I like to learn. That's something that I spend a lot of time doing. I always like getting a certification, and that's always something that, like kind of like aligns with me. I also, like love exercise outside of work. And that's something, like promote like healthy, habits and things like that. And that's something that I do like, with my family members and also on social medias and things like that.
Tell me about what are you doing on social media? What are you posting? Workout routines, food and
No workout routines. It was more like, that is, so usually when you try to, kind of like do exercise, like most of the people are like, okay, this is how many repetitions, this is the workout that you have to do. And for me, like exercise is completely different than workout. For me, exercise is just like a habit that you created. It's not going to look the same every day, but then you do it with something that you enjoy. And the things that I love to do is like playing. So I play basketball. I like to walk, and that's kind of like I just like pick stuff like that, and that's like something that I really enjoy. So I kind of like just like post it and like talk to people about it, or like something about wellness. That's kind of like something that I usually like post.
okay. And you have those same types of conversations and create those type of experiences with your family members. You're doing the same type of thing. Okay.
Yeah, my mom is the person that I am helping her the most because, she went like a little bit overweight. So I want to make sure that she was on the right track because she's like 5'4", so not too high. So I said, like, you got to start walking and you have to like take care of your diet. And I think that that's kind of like, she's the one that, like I have been like kind of like helping her like that. And she has been like, I sent her like all the food that she needed to eat at what time, and like how many she needed to have, and kind of like just like checking like her weight. No, for her to lose like muscles, because that's not the point. It was more like making sure that like the way that she looks is better, that she's feeling better. It was not like about aesthetic or anything like that.
Okay. We're gonna come back to that one. Purpose. You kind of already told me, but I want to be clear because you said you love teaching, you love to learn, which means also you love to talk to people. Um, think back to all of the experiences that you've had over the years. It could have been in grad school, it could have been a paid position, it could have been when you were in high school and you were a candy striper at the hospital. It could be paid or unpaid. Out of all of those experiences, was there ever one thing where you're like, I really enjoyed that? I wish I could do more of that.
I'll say the projects and programs management is like one thing that like keeps me excited, and it's something that I can do like every day, because you have like a lot of people in the same room talking to you, explaining things, like discussing, like having like conversations and trying to solve problems at the same time. And I don't know, it fires me up. That's something that I really like enjoy doing. I have the opportunity to do, I did three of them, like when I on my past work, because I was one of them was with some classes that I was taking, and we had to create a program, and the other two was with coalitions and also being part of like of the team work to build. One of them was a new nonprofit, and the other one was within coalitions and work groups.
So did you enjoy when you say project and program management, did you enjoy the admin, the administrative piece of it, or did you enjoy more the working with the people? Because when I think of program management, that's leading the program, you're designing the workshops, you're bringing in the guest speakers, you're maybe even facilitating the workshops. Which side of that did you
For
enjoy?
me, it's more leading. I have been kind of like, it's like when you get into the room, like a lot of people wanting to do too many things at the same time. And I'm always the one that like this, I know that we want to do this, want to do that, but this is how much money we have, this is how much time we have, and this is how we need to, like this is the quality of work that we want to get, how we want to get it done. So most of the time it's like, sometimes we lose too much time in like small pieces and situations or discussions that will go nowhere. So I'm usually the person that leads the conversation, like, hey, this way. So I think that that's why they like, like to be, like they like me to be in those groups. And I'm always, just like, I usually like, I'm pretty good at just like checking what other people are saying and judging and seeing like what we have, how we have things and how we need to work in each part. So I am always also looking like solutions. My brain is like pretty fast. And then I'm just like always like kind of like, it's like generating things while people are talking and connecting the dots. So that's like something that I always like enjoy. And when I'm doing stuff like that, it's like time flies. It's like, oh my God, it's already 4, but it's something that I really enjoy.
Okay. This is helpful. So let's talk about population and issue. Is there one population and or issue you're more passionate about than another? And if that's hard for you to answer, I can give you some guiding questions to help you figure it out.
So I think that I am not like really specific like its population, but usually the ones that I have worked and I have loved them has been adults, young adults and on. That have been my population up to 80. That has been like the people that I have worked with. I have worked also with nonprofits, and it's kind of like providing courses and guidance around what they're doing. Has been like more organization on the meso area. Then I also have done like a micro, but that has been when I used to work as a coordinator with a nonprofit that was focused on nutrition and in food.
Mm. Look. So how the 3Ps framework works, I created it in my own pivot because I was like, I'm tired of working any job just to pay the bills. And so how it works is that 99.9% of the time, and I've used it with hundreds of social workers at this point, the thing you do in your personal life is really what you want to be doing in your career. So to hear you say that you were the coordinator of a program that was around food and nutrition, I didn't write it down fast enough, but food and nutrition. And then also in your passion, you're telling me that you enjoy doing that type of work with your mom so much so you didn't create a meal plan, you're doing accountability check-ins, all of the things, which are also elements of program design. You called it program management, but where you like the management piece, but you also like the design piece because you explicitly said that you are solution focused, right? So I say all that to say, okay, if your area of interest is food and nutrition, we'll say that's the issue. And you said all the way up to 80, you'll work with anybody regarding food and nutrition. Okay. So the issue is food and nutrition. So now that we know all of that, you should be, look, now I'm getting into business coaching. I don't do business coaching, but I do love to ideate. Like I can give people a business idea. You should be going, what state are you in now?
Now I am in Tennessee. I used to be in Colorado.
Okay. I don't know nothing about Tennessee. Yeah, is it a lot of nonprofits around where you live?
Right where I live right now, no. Kind of like right around where I live, they don't, but they have where I live. I'm close to Memphis.
But you say your connections run deep in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we are in the world of virtual engagement and meeting people on Zoom. What I would suggest that, well, what I'm thinking of, what I'm ideating on is you should tap back into your network to see who has decision-making power around the programs they offer in their organizations. And you should pitch to them around you helping them design a program around food and nutrition education and you delivering that service either virtually or hybrid where you travel there because they got to pay you now. We ain't doing this for free. Okay. But you could travel there and do it, maybe do like an in-person workshop once every few months. However, you will have a full curriculum online because you say you love to teach. So you can design a whole curriculum around the thing, but you pitch it as I will do all of the heavy lifting for you all and create this thing and come in and facilitate it. I will also evaluate it because this is where, I'm macro focused. So you will also evaluate and measure the outcomes and provide that to them. And you really want to focus on organizations who are focused on addressing the whole needs of the people they serve. So I say that to say, like, you don't want to be trying to pitch to a real social service organization where they're like, we only deal with transportation, right? You want to be pitching to people who are aware, like, well, our students are really struggling around food insecure. Like, they don't have enough food, so we have this food pantry. You're like, okay, yeah, food pantry is great, but we also need this other thing. Or maybe it's seniors. What population did you work with in Colorado?
They come from like one specific organizations. They used to come from like some of them were in a house. The other ones were receiving a SNAP, but that was not enough for them. Sometimes because they had too many family members in the house and we were supporting them. The other one were families as a whole, that used to come. And they also were, like immigrants from different parts or from different countries, but they were living in Colorado. Some of them were, like have legal documents, some of them didn't. And we anyway helped them. It didn't matter to us. That was like one of the things that we have. Um, Spanish speakers, other languages, what else? And seniors, that was another thing that we did. And disables, people with disabilities, living with disabilities, that was another one. Some of them used to come, some of them we send it to them, and some social workers used to work like in case management, and then they brought the food to them. That was like one part of the organization. I used to work, like as a volunteer, and that's kind of like how I got the job and got in there. And then after that, then I became the coordinator, and after that, I was in community organizing too.
What do you have a hot connection with someone at the organization where you did the food and nutrition coordinator work? Like,
Yes.
okay. I would say what you need to do is create a short list of the people that you can think of who would be interested in possibly supporting you in this. This is the time where we as social workers got to call in favors. They've been calling you for years. Okay, it's time to ask the people. So create a short list and then schedule a meeting with them. You could do it on Zoom. But make certain they are decision makers. Like they can sign off on some stuff. And you pitch to them this program that you created, even if you don't have it fully written out, you got it up here. You doing it with your mom. That you've been beta testing it with her. You've been beta testing it for years with your participants in your different jobs. You tell them about this program. You give them like the time length of it. What are the key objectives? What's like the framework of the curriculum? And then you pitch that to them. You also need to have like the question you ask is, what is their budget? And then you figure out your price based on that. But again, we're not doing it for free. But also what I tell people is that being that you're trying to make this an official thing, and most business coaches won't tell you this. They will tell you to charge everything you can. My thing is your outcomes from this endeavor are more important in the beginning than the dollars. Right? The testimonials you can get from it, the people co-signing on, like Avi has a wonderful evidence-based program, whatever the thing is, that to me is worth more weight in gold. That's why you see people all on the internet talking about my services. I was charging pennies when I first joined out in 2020. but they are strong, like champions of the brand. So I just wanted to say that because most coaches will be like, oh no, you should charge everything. So yeah, create a short list, schedule a meeting with the people and pitch it. You already know it. You've been doing it. What are your thoughts on that?
That sounds really good. I think that that's kind of like another thing that I also, something that I didn't tell you is that I am also connected with the coalitions that I used to work with. So I have been like, even though like I'm not working there, I have been helping them and supporting them. And I'm also board of directors of one of the nonprofit that is also an international nonprofit, but it's also in Colorado, it's Sister to Sister Inc. So that's kind of like something also that I have been working in on that one. And I used to be also one of the boards of the National Society of Leadership and Success. So I think that also I can make a list of the people and I know who are the decision makers. So that will be easy for me. I don't know why I didn't think about that, but thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. And then even if you're like, you have some people who are, you like, these people will buy anything that I'm selling. Don't be afraid to shift from food and nutrition to maybe something else. So like talk about the international organization, my brain like went in overload because I'm like, oh, you could pitch some type of program management, design, evaluation support to them because you know what issues they're facing because you're on the board. I don't know if you can contract services with them, but maybe you can do it with a sister organization that works with them, or maybe an international organization. And this is where I teach my coaching clients how to really truly become experts about their thing, their 3 Ps, because if you have a population or issue, you should also be learning about what other issues impact those people. So like when we talk about food and nutrition, you talked about the fact around the SNAP benefits. That's another issue. Why does that issue exist? Is it because I'm making this up. Is there a language barrier between the case managers that's serving them? I know when I worked on the front lines, there was a huge issue where the actual SNAP workers from the state agency didn't know like what the qualifications were and that such and such could qualify. They were turning people around telling them they couldn't when they could. Maybe it's a language barrier. Maybe there's a mistrust with your population. I used to work with immigrants. There's a huge mistrust of the social service system. That's why they don't come through the system. And maybe you can consult with these organizations to help them develop stronger partnerships with their target population. All right. Any other questions? That was a great one.
No, thank you.
Okay, great. Let me remove you from it. So let's see, in the Zoom, in the YouTube chat, Rasha, Rashay, I'm sorry. That's why I'm careful this time around my job search. I want to look forward to going to work every day. In the past, I realized I'm not as passionate once I get the job. Yes, that is very real. That's very real. So we did some career makeovers. We did 2. First we had Shapri and then we had Avi. And I don't see any one else sharing like what is the biggest issue they have in their career/job in the YouTube chat. That's okay. I'll come back. I'm gonna be back. We're gonna do this again. This is fun. I do want to let you all know that I have an upcoming workshop that is coming up really fast where I'm going to be like breaking down the actual steps you should be making in your career right now while still working as a case manager. And these are steps that I created along with the 3 Ps framework that I just broke down. It was steps around how to, and Avi, gave us a good segue into this. It's like how I'm going to be teaching you how to strategically start developing and leveraging relationships in your case management jobs with other people in different organizations that you can tap into when you need. I'm going to be teaching you how to get the experience that you need. So once you leave those jobs, if you want to go in a different direction, you have experience that you can pull from. You have experience that you can add to your resume. I'm going to be teaching you all of those strategic steps that you should be doing. That workshop is coming up really, really fast. Actually, it's going to be, and I'm looking at my notes and I have 1,001 notes. It's going to be on Saturday, September 14th. However, if you register by next Tuesday, you will get a bonus workshop that I'm going to be delivering the Saturday before that on 3 strategies to work through fear and show up anyway. It's a workshop that I did last year. One time I had a lot of people attend it, and I'm going to be doing it again because many of you are stellar at what you do. We just heard from Shapri. She's been working with students longer than she's probably been a social worker. We just heard from Ivy. She is an expert around food, health, and nutrition. Many of you have some wonderful, wonderful backgrounds. However, for whatever reason, you ain't told the people about the thing. And so I really want to help you all move past the fear. I see somebody coming in the weight room. Let's see. Hold on one second. And so those workshops are coming up. You can register at macroandpaid.com and get your ticket. It's only $47. $47, you get 2 workshops. Nothing that I ever teach is fluff. Nothing. That's why my people be winning. We are at 170 plus social workers now who have pivoted to macro work. Zoom user, can you put your name in the Zoom chat so I know who it is? Okay, Eugene. All right, Eugene, you the lucky contestant. We have exactly 3 more minutes. What is the biggest issue you have in your career currently?
Yes, Marthy. Is it Marthy or Martha?
Marthea.
Marthea, yes. So the biggest issue I have is simple. It's experience. The thing is, apply for all these jobs, and I don't have experience, like social work experience, that is. I don't have enough experience. And hospitals such as Kaiser Permanente, they don't care about internship experience, and they explicitly state that on their website for their job postings. They only care about licensed clinical social workers. So my question is, it's the catch-22. It's how do we get that job without the experience, the
What
paid
type?
experience?
Okay. What types of jobs are you trying to apply for?
Basically, everything related to social work, clinical social work primarily. I know there are non-traditional social work, fields out there that are probably related to social work, like DE&I or uh, something else related to that. But those fields, they require experience that is related to that job that is not social work. So when I apply for those jobs, I get rejected, or when I get interviewed, the first thing they ask me is, so what experience do you have in this field that is not related to social work?
Yeah. In that situation, I would say it's time to get creative to see what roles are available in that hospital system that you can target that are not directly the ones that you've been going for. And it may not be ideally what you've been wanting to do, right? But now it's now it's time to get strategic. So what I mean by that is maybe instead of a role as a clinician, you look at roles on the admin team where you are doing some part of the administrative piece for that specific department. And then and I'm saying this because I'm assuming the goal is to get a job at this point. So you do that first to get your foot in the door. And then once you're in there, that's when you can really find out about other opportunities that are not like readily made known to the general public that you can probably tap into. Maybe there's a specific type of, I'm just making this up, Eugene. Maybe there's some type of like preparation program that's only available to employees in the actual department, or maybe there is some type of like pathway opportunity where you start off as a clinician assistant, but then they will be training you simultaneously to become a clinician. They'll even pay for your licensure. I don't know. However, I would strongly encourage you to get strategic and look at, I know your sights are set on the clinician type job, but if if they've already made it clear you need experience, you need to find other ways to get that. And usually it's a position that supports that position. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you, Murthy.
Okay. Was that helpful?
Yes, I've tried that before. Also, like going into admin for non-traditional social work roles in hospitals.
And what happened?
Uh, well, they require certifications or experience in those roles. So it's difficult, especially when you need a license or a certification. For example, like I forget the name of that title, but some kind of respiratory behavioral therapist or something like that. And they required a specific certification, and that certification cost several hundreds of dollars, and I believe some experience as well for that in order to take that exam, I believe.
Okay. Were you also looking at roles that didn't have therapists in the title?
I believe so. I don't remember. I've applied to literally like 1,000 jobs for the past several years, so I don't remember.
What's your background in?
I have a master's in social work also.
Where have you worked?
Oh, I worked at a community clinic, well, a wellness center for only 6 months. And that was only 6 months. It wasn't 6 years. So then I had to voluntarily resign because the family matters. And then I've been trying to get back into social work, but it's been difficult with that experience. And then recently I interviewed for two roles with the County of Riverside and County of San Bernardino for their social work practitioner roles that don't require experience. And then after I interviewed, I was professional during the interviews. After I interviewed, they sent me a rejection email, and then I followed up with them. Professionally asked them, "Can you please tell me what are the reasons why I was rejected?" And they couldn't tell me because of liability issues. So,
Okay. So also what I was thinking of then, Eugene, is maybe start, and this is just suggestions, maybe start looking at like not organizations, software or different like when I say software, I'm thinking of like an app or a software or a program that is only being sold to mental health type organizations. And that's the whole strategy thing where it may not be the actual clinician role that you get, but you may can get a job where you are supporting the delivery of mental health services. There's a social worker who I use as a case study all of the time in my micro to macro career accelerator, who works with IBM. She had 2 years of frontline case management experience, and she never even worked in child welfare. However, she worked in like a nonprofit that served children and families. For the last 20 plus years, she has been working with IBM, and what she does is she helps them develop and sell software to child welfare agencies across the state to streamline their case management services. And she does that from the standpoint of being the subject matter expert around the like caseloads and the management of case management on the caseloads for case workers. And she uses that knowledge to then help engineers develop this software, but also market it and sell it to child welfare agencies. So it's time to start thinking about what are the supporting actors to mental health delivery of services, and maybe can you target those types of jobs. And she does not have a tech background. She does not have any tech certifications. She just has her nonprofit experience. That's what got her the job. And so I say that to say it's time to start looking at what other supporting roles can you take on outside of that actual organization, because it sounds like you have fully exhausted that at this point.
yes, I've tried that with, for example, Calm, the app. I've tried applying for several roles with them, and they require experience as well that I don't have. And then there's another one. I forget the name of the other one, the other agency. I believe it's called Gemma, Gemma, or it was Chani also, the app that deals with horoscopes. They pay a minimum of $80,000 for all the roles. And I applied for their, I believe it was an admin role for the Chani app, or it was something related to product development or something. It was a long time ago. And I applied and I reviewed the qualifications and I tailored my resume. And I felt like I was qualified based on the qualifications. So I tailored my resume based on what, tons of people have told me to do and to fit the requirements to pass the ATS. And I haven't heard back from them. I haven't heard back from Chani, the horoscope app, and I haven't heard back from Gemma or Gemma, GEMMA. So,
Okay.
and plus I believe either rejected me or they've been radio silent as well regarding the role that I applied for.
Okay. Well, that's good that you are looking at exhausting those other avenues. I would say keep applying. It's a numbers game, Eugene. And I'm gonna say this and then we'll be done with the if you can remember the jobs that and I'm not saying like you're not doing enough, but this is what I teach my coaching clients. If you can remember the job you applied to, you're not applying enough. I would say double down on the applications to those types of corporations and get as generic as possible, right? Don't only focus on very specific like user experience type roles. Look at other things that you can easily transition into with like a general customer service background or administrative type focus background, things like that, and double down on your job applications. But that's good that you're already looking at other alternatives. So we're going to stop there. Thank you all for joining me because I have another meeting, but this is great. I wish you the best. And we're going to end there. Happy macro career planning. You're welcome. You're welcome, Eugene, Shapri, Avi. Have a wonderful day.